Hello and welcome back to the channel. The Roaring Twenties were more than jazz and speakeasies. They were bullets, bootlegging, and blood in the streets. In Chicago, crime became an empire. The men who ruled it weren't just criminals. They were icons of fear, charisma, and cold ambition. Thanks to AI facial restoration and colorization, we're bringing 12 of Chicago's most notorious gangsters back to life. Now, their mugshots and newsprint portraits are reimagined in full, unsettling clarity. Faces of the underworld, staring back through time. Let us know in the comments which face gave you chills or which story shocked you most. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss another glimpse into history's darker corners. Let's begin. 1. Al Capone. Al Capone was the quintessential American gangster, a man who transformed crime into a corporate enterprise and himself into a dark celebrity. As the undisputed king of Chicago's Prohibition-era underworld, he managed his vast empire of bootlegging, bribery, and violence with the sharp acumen of a CEO and the ruthless finality of a warlord. He was a paradox of charm and brutality, a public figure who donated to charity one day and ordered a massacre the next. Today, the legendary face of Scarface is being brought into startling focus by artificial intelligence. The digital restoration peels back the myth, reviving his confident smirk and the cool, calculating intelligence in his dark eyes, allowing us to see the charismatic and deeply menacing force who defined an entire era of organized crime. Two. George Bugs Moran. As the head of the North Side Gang, George Bugs Moran was the violent and defiant counterpoint to Al Capone's South Side empire. An Irish-American brawler at heart, Moran was fiercely territorial, famously brutal, and driven by a personal hatred for his Italian rival. Where Capone was a strategist, Moran was a street fighter, leading a gang known for its brazen aggression and bloody feuds that plunged Chicago's streets into open warfare. Now, this formidable rival is being viewed with newfound clarity through the lens of artificial intelligence. The restoration of his portraits brings back his sharp, confrontational gaze and a hardened, street-tough expression, revealing the raw, unyielding face of a man who would rather fight and lose than bow to anyone. Three. Frank Niti. Frank, the enforcer. Niti was the quiet, calculating engine that kept Al Capone's criminal machine running. As Capone's trusted lieutenant and eventual successor, Niti was the master of operations, a man who preferred efficiency and intimidation over the flashy celebrity of his boss. He was the quintessential mob manager, ensuring the outfit's vast network of rackets continued to generate immense profits with cold, businesslike brutality. This shadowy figure is now being brought into sharp focus by artificial intelligence. The digital restoration of his photograph reveals a lean, severe face, cutting through the historical haze to show a man whose expression is defined by pragmatism and menace. Less flair, more fear, the face of the man who truly ran the show from behind the scenes. Four. Jack Machine Gun McGurn. Jack McGurn was the personification of the Prohibition-era's violent glamour, a flashy and ferocious hitman for the Capone organization. A former boxer with a taste for the high life, he was as known for his golfing hobby and stylish suits as he was for his lethal proficiency with a Tommy gun. He was the youthful, deadly face of Capone's muscle, embodying the live, fast, die young ethos of the Roaring Twenties underworld. Today, this notorious triggerman is being seen in a new light through artificial intelligence. Restored photographs bring back his slicked-back hair and the startling intensity in his youthful face, capturing the dangerous combination of sophisticated style and cold-blooded resolve that made him one of Chicago's most feared assassins. 5. Johnny Torio. Known as the Fox, Johnny Torio was the quiet architect of the modern American mob, a brilliant strategist who mentored Al Capone and first envisioned Chicago's potential as a unified criminal empire. Unlike his more volatile peers, Torio was a diplomat of the underworld, a man who believed in organization over chaos and negotiation over needless bloodshed. He built the foundation for the Chicago outfit, bringing a level of business structure to the city's warring gangs. Now, the face of this mob mastermind is being brought into clearer view by artificial intelligence. The restoration process peels back the years to reveal a cool, composed, and intelligent face. The steady, thoughtful gaze of a man who saw crime not as a street fight, but as a board game. Six. Dean Oanion. Dean Oanion was a man of lethal contradictions, a celebrated floral artist by day and the ruthless leader of Chicago's North Side Gang by night. Operating out of his flower shop directly across from a cathedral, he projected an image of boyish Irish charm while fiercely defending his bootlegging territory with cunning and bloodshed. This unique duality made him one of the most colorful and dangerous figures in the city's underworld, a direct and formidable rival to Johnny Torio and the emerging Capone. Now, through the power of artificial intelligence, this paradox is made visible. Restored photographs capture his disarming, almost cheerful expression, starkly contrasted by the deadly intent visible in his eyes, the face of a man who could arrange a funeral wreath and order a hit with equal skill. Seven. Tony Aardo. Known as Joe Batters, Tony Aardo began his career as Al Capone's bodyguard and rose through the ranks to become the longest-reigning boss in the history of the Chicago outfit. Aardo was the ultimate survivor, a master of staying out of the spotlight and behind the scenes. While other bosses lived and died by the gun, he ruled with quiet authority for decades, adapting the mob's business from bootlegging to gambling and loan sharking, and insulating himself from prosecution with layers of subordinates. Today, this legendary figure is being seen with newfound intimacy through the lens of artificial intelligence. Restored images bring back his sharp suit, his cool, confident posture, and the knowing, intelligent gaze of a man who understood that true power was quiet and enduring. Eight. Haimey Weiss. Born Earl Wojciechowski, Haimey Weiss was a Polish-American gangster and the fiercely intelligent leader of the North Side Gang after the death of Dean Oanion. He was a man of intense contradictions, known for his cold-blooded precision in planning hits and a deep-seated paranoia that made him a formidable and unpredictable foe for the Capone organization. Weiss earned the nickname the Perfumer for the way he would spill perfume to cover the scent of gunpowder after a hit. This complex figure is now brought into sharp focus by artificial intelligence. Digital restoration brings out his sharp, angular features and the watchful, piercing quality of his eyes, revealing the face of a meticulous and deeply suspicious man who was always calculating his next move. Nine. Fred Killer Burke. Fred Killer Burke was a freelance ghost in the machine of the Midwest underworld, a professional bank robber and contract killer of chilling repute. His name is forever tied to the St. Valentine's Day massacre, where he is widely suspected of being one of the primary triggermen, dressing as a police officer and wielding a Thompson submachine gun with terrifying efficiency. After the massacre, he simply vanished, becoming a phantom sought by both the law and the mob. Today, artificial intelligence allows us to look into the face of this notorious killer. Restored photographs revive a menacing, shadowed expression, his features set in a detached and dangerous calm, the very image of a man for whom violence was not a passion, but a profession. Vincent, the schemer, Drucci. Vincent Drucci was one of the most volatile and ambitious members of Chicago's North Side Gang, a gangster with a flair for dramatic action and a notoriously short fuse. Known as the schemer, he was a key figure in the gang's war against the Capone outfit, often leading from the front with reckless bravado. His ambition was not just criminal, but political. In a legendary incident, he brazenly raided the office of a hostile alderman, cementing his reputation as a rogue who feared no one. This fiery personality is now brought to life through artificial intelligence. Restored images enhance his smooth, almost smiling face, capturing the equal parts charm and rebellion that defined his character, the look of a man who enjoyed the chaos he created. Louis Tug Gun Alter. Louis Tug Gun Alter was one of the most eccentric and theatrical figures in Chicago's mob history. A Colorado native obsessed with the Wild West, he stood out in the urban underworld by dressing like a cowboy, complete with a wide-brimmed hat and two holstered pistols that earned him his nickname. As an enforcer for the North Side Gang, he brought a flair for the dramatic to his violent work, once challenging a rival to a duel in the middle of a Chicago street. This larger-than-life character is now being viewed through the clarifying lens of modern technology. AI-powered restoration captures his signature theatrical mustache and an eccentric glare, revealing the face of a man who saw the gangster life as a performance, with himself as the gunslinging star. Frank, the Big Fellow, Lonergan. Frank Lonergan was the towering and formidable enforcer for the Southside O'Donnells, a rival gang that clashed with the Capone organization. As his nickname, the Big Fellow, suggests, Lonergan was pure muscle, a physically imposing figure whose job was to intimidate, protect, and enforce the gang's will on the streets. In the brutal hierarchy of the Chicago underworld, men like Lonergan were the essential frontline soldiers, the human weapons that made the boss's ambitions a reality. Now, artificial intelligence allows us to see the man behind the muscle. Restored photographs reveal his rugged strength and a stark, no-nonsense demeanor, his expression conveying the grim reality of a life built on physical dominance and brute force. "12 Faces, 12 Stories. They were ruthless, reckless, and unforgettable." AI doesn't just sharpen their portraits, it reveals the humanity behind the headlines. Which gangster's face or story stood out to you the most? Let us know in the comments. Click here to watch more.